So if anybody has questions throughout, drop them in the chat. So these sessions are formatted pretty easily. We do 21 minutes of movement here with John. He's going to walk you through three different movement snacks. Questions throughout, drop them in. And sorry about that. I had some sort of weird feedback. So 21 minutes of movement, three movement snacks from Mr. John Sinclair, and then we do 21 minutes of Q&A at the end of these sessions. So if you have an individual question about a movement, if you are struggling with pain or anything like that, that's your window of time to ask John your questions. So we're going to kick things off here, John. I'm going to let you take it away. I'm going to monitor the chat in both YouTube and here on Zoom. We'll see y'all in about 21 minutes.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dan. Hi, everyone. John Sinclair here from Seven Movements. Today, we've got three special snacks for you. The first snack is going to focus on some mobility. So I want to get you moving and feeling a little bit better. We're going to go from top to bottom. So we're going to explore joints starting right at the head and neck and ending at the feet. Then the second phase is, the second snack we'll do is we're going to explore your three-dimensional bubble. And then finally, in the last snack, we're going to just do some recovery with some breath work and poses. So if you're ready to get going, we'll do a little retest of every motion that we have in these big joints right off the bat. So the first thing I'm going to have you do is let's just look straight up and down, and we're going to explore motion in the neck. So all you have to do is just mirror me. I'm going to talk you through some of this stuff, but just keep watching where I'm going, what I'm doing. I'll change the view here a little bit for you. We're just going to test what that motion feels like in your neck. So you went up and down. Let's go side to side like you're turning your head. Turning side to side. And then let's go tip your ear towards your shoulders. Okay, get a sense of how that neck is feeling. And now we're going to apply some local circulation to it. That basically means we're going to try to drive some fluid to that region that we were just moving. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to call it a little bit of a rub and scrub. We're going to take your hands. I want you to massage the bones where your skull meets the back of your neck. We call that the occiput. So it's the occiput bone. And we're going to rub that side to side. Create a little heat and friction on this massive anchor point where your trapezius muscles attached to the back of the head, and then it continues as the scalp fascia. But how our head moves on the neck is going to be influenced by this point. Okay, so we've scrubbed that one. Let's go up and down on it and work your way just behind your ears a little bit. Okay, we're going to scrub in there. And now let's retest that motion. So go ahead and let your head go back and then let it go down. That feels way better for me in this range. Let's test it left to right. Turn. Feeling a little bit better. A little sticky on my right side still. How are you feeling? Okay, and then we'll go ear tilting left to right. One feels okay. Okay, so let's explore some motion at the shoulders now. Do some big front circles, and let's reverse it. Reverse into another big circle. Let's go one arm up, one arm back. Let's go across, in front, and back. Okay, so now we've done a little motion there. Let's take your knuckles and you're going to rake up and down on your sternum. So that's a big breastbone right at the very front. You're going to scrub up and down on there. And you're going to take your fingers, go on the top of your collarbone, like you're trying to dust it off. Like that collarbone is a shelf. We're dusting our shelves today. Okay, and then go to the other one with the other hand. And let's put your finger right where your collarbone ends and meets the sternum. There's a little divot there. Stick your finger in that little divot and then rub across that ligament. This can be tender for some people. Go to the other side, collarbone ends, trace it down. Then there's a little divot. You stick your finger in that divot. and go up and down across that ligament. Okay, now let's try some motion of the shoulders. We did front circles. We did reverse circles. We did one arm going up, one arm going down. And then we went across. One over top, one on the other. That should feel a little smoother now. Now what's cool is the head and neck attach, all those tendons and ligaments attached to the collarbone, and then to the sternum, and then to the abdominal wall. And as you know, all connective tissue works together. So go ahead and check your neck motion. Turn head to the side. Tilt. Much better. Rotate. Okay, let's go to the hips. You're going to take your knuckles and we're going to scrub up and down the side of the hip. Down. Okay, try a little squat and a little reach. Squat and reach together. What does that feel like? Okay, I feel pretty good here, a little stiff and stuck here. So I'm going to take my knuckles, I'm going to rake up and down my lower back. Going across it. By me driving fluid to this area, that creates space in these joints. And it increases some sensory activity. Tells the nervous system, hey, everything feels pretty good right now. So then I get a corresponding signal through the motor side of the nervous system to coordinate better motion here because I got better space now. I don't have to guard any poor motion. Okay, so go ahead and try that squat now. Now for me, that feels a little better. How are you feeling? Take inventory of all these strategies so that as you're doing them, you go, wow, that felt so much better. It made such a good change for me that it can be one of your habits that you start to employ throughout the day. Okay, so now that we've done the hips, we're going to go to the knee. So you've done a bunch of squats. Let's see how the knee is impacting that. So let me tilt you down here just a bit so you can see what I do with my knee. I'm just going to take my hands and rub my knee up and down. So I'm putting pressure into the side of the knee, going up and down across the front of that knee. And go ahead and try your squat. You should feel like you have a little bit more range of motion on the one you just scrubbed. So we go to the other side. Scrub, scrub, scrub. Okay, try that one. Feels a little better. A little more motion at that knee. Tells me that my body's getting ready to move. So the next one we're going to go to is to your foot and ankle. We're going to rub the back of your heel. If you need to sit down, you can. I'm just going to sit right here so you can see me. See what I'm doing. I'm going to take my ankle, my foot, and rub the side of the foot and the back of the ankle bone. So that heel bone. You rub the top of my foot right where the foot meets the ankle. Get right on there. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Top of the foot. On the back of the heel. Kind of cup it. Ring it. Get right where the foot meets the ankle bone. Get on the back side. Okay, and then I'm going to stand up and retest my squat. There we go. Now I feel like everything flows just a little bit better. Okay, so there's our little circulation and mobility prep. Now we're going to explore your movement. So what we're going to do is we're going to explore your three-dimensional sphere. So think of what directions that I'm moving, what distance or how far I'm traveling, how deep am I traveling. That's our three-dimensional bubble. So we're going to do that through the lunge pattern. Lunge by definition is step and return. So just follow me. I'm gonna alternate 1 foot at a time. Select how far you feel comfortable stepping. Okay, if it's just step and return, I'm not really changing my vertical height. So it's still a lunge. I just didn't challenge my vertical height like as if I decided to go deeper into that lunge. Okay, so you explore that, but we're going to combine that motion with a forward reach. Forward reach. Get the shoulders involved here. When we reach at chest height, I'm going to lower my level just a bit. Now, the happy part about this is that you get to self-select how far you want to travel. Generally, my rule is I need to keep up with my good rhythm and timing. If I move with good rhythm and timing, and it's coordinated and it feels symmetrical between my left leg and my right leg, then I'm in my safe bubble. You want to explore a little bigger, go ahead and explore a little bigger. Just make sure that your rhythm hasn't changed. Okay, let's try a different motion. Let's go, we're headed to the side. And as I reach to the side, I'm going to reach same side arm, same side leg is going to reach. Same side arm, same side reach. And we're going to like bend a little bit. So I can reach just a little bit further. A little bit further. Something's just outside of your reach. We have to make up some of that space in the spine. So stay wide through the shoulders and long through the spine. Even if you're reaching, now we have to move from the hips a little bit. Okay, stay in your bubble. If here to here is where you could feel confident, that's where you're going to stay right now. Really important if you're someone with back pain that you stay within your bubble, but you start telling the nervous system that safety is here so that movement feels good for you. Okay, let's step back now. And if I'm moving with my left foot, I'm going to take my left foot, you it'll be your right. I'm going to step and open up to 4 o'clock. You will be moving at 8 o'clock. So we're just going to step back, left one, then the right one. Just find that pattern. Just open up, find that foot and return. Open up, find that foot and return. 4 and 8 o'clock. Okay, now let's get the arms involved. Let's switch to stepping forward again. We're going to step forward and we're going to rotate the hands and then pivot back. So same leg is moving here. I'm just going to step forward, step back, step forward, step back. So I'm stepping forward, but then I'm stepping behind where I came from. So I got a little bit of forward, a little bit of backwards movement. Okay, switching sides. Rotate towards your lead leg. So you're always rotating with the leg in front of you. Nothing wrong with doing it the opposite way. It's just different. Different tissues come to play the game. Okay, let's go step to the side. And as we step to the side, we're going to take both hands to the side. We're going to do one side at a time. Okay, let's explore the other side. Step to the side and rotate. You want to make this really challenging? You step bigger, you step deeper. But your rhythm doesn't change. Posture stays the same. You just sit into the hip a little bit more. Okay? And then the next one we're going to step open. I want you to reach your hands out like somebody's handing you a box of apples. Step, reach, grab those apples, bring them close to you. All along, stay at my tempo or a little slower. Okay, and to the other side. Step, open, grab those apples, come home. More. More. Okay. Let's play with your brain a little bit. So we're going to do a marching pattern. So switching from lunges, we're going to explore how high can I reach with a cross pattern crawl. It's a standing crawl pattern or marching and climbing pattern. So my opposite arm, opposite leg, opposite arm, opposite leg. I'm just going to go into this climbing pattern. Go, 10 seconds. Keep it up. You want to challenge yourself, you just stop and freeze. See how well your balance is. There you go, keep going. Stop, freeze. There you go. There you go. There's our bubble exploration today. The last thing we're going to focus on is let's just go ahead and create some motion of the hips, kind of round this out, and then we'll do some restorative poses. So I like having my hands on my hips with one foot further forward than the other. Call it a staggered stance. You're just going to explore a hip circle so we get some motion into the pelvis and motion into the hip joint. We go to the other side. Just restore some space in the capsule of the hip. I find we don't tend to do enough anymore. Just explore motion right in the capsules of joints. Okay, other foot forward. Explore hip rotation. Think about drawing a circle with your pelvic bones. Let the femurs react to the pelvis. Okay, other direction. Okay, recovery pose number one. We're going to do a recovery pose with a really wide stance. So spread your feet out. You're just going to let your hands fall between your legs. Take some deep, deep breaths. So breath in through the nose. Keep your mouth closed as you exhale back through the nose. This is the international recovery position, just in a wide stance. Okay, slowly wiggle yourself out of that. Go into a really narrow stance now. Put one foot on the bottom of your calf. So we're standing on one leg. You can put your hands out to the side. You can put them overhead. You can put them on your hips. And just take some deep breaths here for our traditional tree pose. Go to the other side. Need something to hang on to? That's okay too. You can have a chair in front of you. If you want to challenge yourself, just lift your foot a little bit higher. Okay, let's go ahead and transition to one foot further forward than the other. Both toes pointed straight forward if you can. Reach your arms overhead. Think about pulling yourself as long as you can. Deep breaths. Okay. Switch to the other side. Come out of that. We're gonna go heel to toe, so one foot's going forward this way, the other foot's going forward this way. You're gonna turn your torso so it's in the middle of that stance. Put your arms up, turn your head, looking down your fingers. Hands fall, feet back together, foot back, out, turn your torso, arms up to the side, look down the fingers. Hands down, feet back together. We're gonna call this one the wilting rose. All we're gonna do is start to flex at the chin, flex at the shoulders, and just wilt yourself down into a rounding of the spine. Let your fingers fall. Hold that pose. If you struggle with your balance or that's fearful for you, your hands can stay on a chair out in front of you. And just wilt at the upper back. Stand up nice and tall. And the last one we're going to do is what I like to call the coach's pose. If you're comfortable and you have it available, we'll show you a standing version, but I like to do the coaching pose with my knee on a pillow. And how that's going to look is I'm going to have one knee down here. I'm going to stretch this back leg. Both hands cross the front of my thigh. Just take some deep breaths, reflecting on what we did today, thinking about some of the really cool movements you tried today and how that made you feel. What one strategy made you feel really great that you might be able to replicate later today, or best yet, to teach somebody else what you learned today. It's the best way that you can remember is first experiment, try it out. If it made you feel better, write that one down and then teach it to somebody else you know. Okay, slowly move out of that. We'll switch to the other side. And lean in. Well, I don't know about you, but I sure feel a whole lot better than what I did when I started. And that's really our goal in this session. So if you know anyone else that really wants to feel better in the middle of the day, invite them to come to this. It's a great way for us just to break up our day a little bit, maybe feel a little bit more energized or a little bit more normalized or balanced from the repetitive stress that you have in your life. Maybe it's a repetitive posture, like sitting at a desk for long periods of time, or just the nature of your sport or activity or occupation. Slowly work your way out of that. There we go. I hope you guys feel a little bit better from that strategy. Dan?
Awesome job. Thanks, Johnny.
Thanks, buddy.
Awesome. So we have a few folks here on Zoom. I'll give you a chance to go first. If you have a question, just drop it in the chat. I'm over on YouTube. We got a bunch of people over there dropping questions for you here, John.
Okay.
So we got about, 15, 16 minutes here to answer any questions that might come up. I think the recurring theme over on YouTube, and I know we have a couple community groups over there that are joining us today, is they don't feel as coordinated as you. So they're feeling a little uncoordinated. Is that normal?
It's normal the first time you have to follow somebody in a mirrored format. I've done this a gazillion times, so to me, it's second nature. When you're first learning a motor skill, you're going to feel a little bit awkward and a little, wow, I'm trying. There's so much information coming at you. You're hearing me talk. You're seeing me on the video, and you're trying to match where I'm going, what body's moving, that type of thing. But the more you practice mirroring the easier the motor skill is going to be. And that's why it's always been so effective as a coach and a client, is to mirror what the other person's doing. That's why you see it so often in dance. Dance is a really good example of how we mirror one another, and why you see mirrors actually in studios is it helps us retain that information and helps us guide us. Now, the reflection of it is a little off because now you're trying to figure out, well, is he moving with his left hand or his right hand? Don't worry so much about that. Just match wherever you could be, just like you're touching my screen as I'm reaching towards you. You just have to reach that same one. So really our focus is on just your rhythm and your timing, learning these patterns. And you don't have to be excellent at these patterns when we first learn them. That's the whole essence of learning. We have to get better at the craft of these motor skills. And while they are somewhat complex at first blush, we're going to be repeating a lot of the same themes in it. So you keep coming back and it's going to start to feel easier and easier for you.
Sorry, I just realized I was on mute. Another question coming in. So Ryan here has back pain. He's heard that he should do stretches before his workout, but you did them at the end of this one. So he's just asking, I think, for your justification of why you do things in the order you do them.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Ryan. That can work for some people. The question really is how do I counter strain the tissues that are too taut? A stretch would be the last thing that we want to do for it. So let's give you an example. If you've got low back pain and your pelvis is tucked in a position where the pelvis is kind of like anteriorly or posteriorly tilted and it's creating flexion at my spine, if I stretch you into a further flexed position or stretch the hamstring, that's going to bring on even more pain and discomfort. So the counter strain to being taut where those tissues are too long would be to compress them. So instead, we might have you do the opposite position, such as maybe laying over an exercise ball and lengthening the front side of the body to make that feel better. The strategy I chose was more about driving circulation than changing the dynamic and behavior of the tissue. So with stretching, that lengthens the tissue. We weren't so concerned with lengthening connective tissue as we were as driving fluid into that tissue. When I drive fluid into that tissue through the rub and scrub and the subtle mobilizers, what that does is that creates space into the joint. So if I drive circulation into that joint, what it's going to do is create that space and allow better motion of the joint. So it's a different way of creating mobility. Stretching can be a strategy for mobility, but it isn't the only strategy for mobility. Today we focused on circulation.
Awesome. Another question coming in. Let's see, I've got a bunch here on YouTube, John. I'm trying to condense them all. I think I've got a lot of questions about how often people should be doing movement snacks throughout the day.
The more frequently, the better. But from a habit formation standpoint, we would ask you to start doing maybe just one at a time, right? So get in a habit where you're doing a little snack around a time that you feel would probably be the most beneficial that you already have a habit doing. Let's say, for example, you're at your computer and you need to get up and refresh your water or your cup of coffee. That would be a great time to get up and do a movement snack. And every time maybe you get up and go to the bathroom, after you go to the bathroom, do a movement snack. So we found that when you attach a movement snack to a current behavior that you already have, then it becomes something that becomes a little more ingrained, but also that habit is replicated. So you don't have to do a 21-minute snack. You could do a 60-second snack. And then those built up over time will just enhance your body's ability to move, decrease some of that repetitive strain that you're under, and hopefully take away some of your pain or discomfort.
Awesome. Carolyn, do you have a question?
Well, I have a scoliosis that compresses the nerve roots of L5S1 on the right and the left, and L4-5 on the right. For example, and it's posture dependent. So the neurosurgeon ascertained that this was stable. Surgery was not recommended. He sent me to physical therapy, and they gave me exercises that are repetitive bridges and the child's pose. So the bridge pose, and like 10 repetitions of the bridge pose, and then put a strap around the knees and do another series of three sets of 10, and then with a ball between my knees, another 3 sets of 10. And I think the idea is that this is core strengthening. And I just wanted to comment on that. They recommended doing this every day. I don't actually, the whole series takes close to an hour, and I don't get it done every day, but I do notice that if whatever I do for core strength, I have less numbness in my toes. But at any rate, I wanted a commentary on that, on what you would add to that, or if you think that is the best way to go about it.
I don't think there are any best ways. Everybody is going to respond differently to a different strategy. And really, it's trying to find out what movements make you feel the best, right? So if I drive better mobility to a region, I inherently will become more stable. So a lot of times people think, well, core stability means making my spine rigid. Well, only if the environment dictates that I need that spine to be rigid, like I'm carrying something really heavy, right? So if I'm carrying something really heavy, I need that spine to be really rigid. But if I'm moving and transitioning, I don't want my spine to be rigid. I need it to be mobile so that I can move into and out of those positions or transition from one position to the other, especially when I'm moving through the field of gravity and not loaded. So creating stiffness in a spine, what we need to realize is, what is the environment of the task dictated for that? And will those drills help you? Yeah, because what you're doing is you're creating co-contraction of the muscles that surround the pelvis. So when you put a strap around your knees and you pull against that strap, you're turning on the musculature on the outside of the hips, which creates pulling on that thoracolumbar fascia, which runs from the opposite hip to the opposite lower back, right, into the latissimus dorsi. And when you hold that position, you're creating an isometric contraction. The benefit of an isometric contraction is that we get activity through the nervous system without change in position of the joint. The other great thing about isometrics is it strengthens up the collagenous materials that get laid down in that area. So the brilliance of what the physical therapist did is they created a strategy that would create some isometrics to lay down some collagen in an area that may be vulnerable, or may be that you don't have as much space in and around that area. So I would say we need to continue with motion that creates space in those joints for you, because you have a rotational dysfunction at the pelvis with some rotation and lateral curvature in the spine. So what we want to do is try to promote whatever motion that I have there, tell the nervous system that it's safe there, because that's going to create, when you get the spine to move like this, that hydrates the disc in that area and takes pressure off the nerve with every rep that you do. So I would say we want to do both. Yeah. Most importantly, we want to try to find the strategy that works best for you, right? Everybody responds differently to different exercises, regardless of what their structures are telling them and how your structures behave in the field of gravity and against the field of gravity.
Actually, combining both your loosening up exercises that you gave me, and this has really helped a lot, because I was having pain with walking because of the asymmetry in the back muscles, that moving my legs in the usual fashion produced asymmetric use of the back muscles, and that has just gone away.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah, the other thing is I got myself one of those a vibrating cushion because I really can't reach that area to do a rub and scrub with any kind of power. So I got a vibrating cushion and I lie on that for about 10 minutes and then do
Fantastic.
the exercise.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, vibration is another great source of how we can drive fluids into the body.
Awesome. Awesome. I want to add one more question from our YouTube audience, John, that'll tack on to what Carolyn was just saying. So I think we got someone asking a little bit about variability and how important that is. They said this. We like the movement snacking approach because it allows me to move a lot of different ways throughout the day. What's the importance of the variability component to movement snacking?
Yeah, variability is the key to health. If I can move the body in omnidirectional ways, so if we think of 3 dimensions, the 3 Ds of 3 dimensions is direction, distance, and depth. And so what I did today is we took one pattern called the lunge, right? So one movement, called a lunge is a movement, a step and return, and we changed your direction of where you were lunging through 3 different primarily 3 different directions, right? We move forward, we move to the side, we move with a little rotation, and then we added 3 different reaches, okay? If I had you lunge we could do 360 different lunges just by changing 1 degree at a time, right? So that variable means a lot to the nervous system. So even just changing direction just by a bit means I've got to change my toes just a little bit, which means the angle of attack that my ankle is going to be hitting the ground at, my foot and my ankle, is going to change what goes into my hip, which changes what happens into the pelvis, which changes what happens at the spine. So we are subservient responders to force and subservient responders to the slave of gravity and its partner in crime, ground reaction force. So our goal is to always move and reach in a different direction. So when I'm coaching people, if you want to add variability, just try this. Step on a different bug each time when you're stepping, and then reach and touch an atom in the atmosphere. You can imagine how many atoms are around us. So just that subtle reach in a different way with a different lunge is going to create so much more variability. That will create a change in input, which will change how the nervous system responds, which changes how the structures, so the muscles, the connective tissues, and the joints respond, which that is our key to health. So variability, always the key. And what's interesting is there's a paradox between variability and specificity. People think they're actually on a spectrum and they change, or one's different than the other. In fact, variability is specificity because it's specificity to the design of the human organism.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks, John. Thanks everybody for attending. Thanks for those of you who showed up in studio, Carolyn, Leah, Robin. I think we had a couple others. Thank you to all of you on the YouTube channel. We will see you again next Monday. And of course, all of you know that there's a couple ways to access our 7 Movements content. One is we have an all access pass to all of our on-demand library. And then we have a studio membership where we have 4 days a week. We're running programs like this. This one we keep free and we will keep free forever, our pain-free movement Mondays. So thanks for joining us here. If you're having any trouble with signing on to these sessions, don't be afraid to email me. I can walk you through it, Carolyn, if you run into this problem again or are having trouble accessing anything, or if anyone else is having those challenges. So thanks again, John, and we will see hopefully everybody next Monday as we continue to grow our community. And if anybody has any questions, you can always reach out to us via email or on any of our social channels.
Thanks, everyone. Have a lovely rest of your week.
Mhm.